My next guest took a trip down memory lane for his latest exhibition. Figure Painting is a series focusing on Joe Simpson's childhood action figures and will go on display at the Truman Brewery later this week. Well, Joe joins me now. You almost stumbled across this as a project, didn't you?
A little bit, yeah. It started off going through all my old belongings at my mum's house. You know, parents make you do it sometimes. And there was a huge suitcase just full of all the toys that I used to play with, like lots of little Lego guys or, you know, action figures. And I was kind of thinking, some of these would be really nice to paint. I'm kind of in the middle of a big project where I'm doing British actors, but I was looking for something on the side, and I thought I'd do about 8, you know, and about a year later I've ended up doing 34 different paintings now. I kind of fell down a bit of a rabbit hole and kind of kept on going. I was like, well, I've got to paint this one, I've got to paint this one. And now I've ended up, with enough for a whole show.
I mean, imagine that did take you, I say in the intro, down memory lane, because they're so connected to toys that are connected to your childhood with specific stories as well.
Yeah, so much. And when you haven't seen them for like 20 years, they're just these little plastic objects that don't change in any way. But when you pick them up, like, it just transports you back to memories of playing, you know, hours playing with them as a child. And really just the touch, you know, the look of them, it just really takes you back in a way that I haven't seen them for so long as well. So, yeah, it really was, a lot of memories making these.
How different is that then? You say you're working on a project with British actors, which are real people whose faces change and move, and this is a very, stationary, very fixed colour object. Yeah. What was that like to do?
Very different to paint. I mean, the actor ones, they're really complicated backgrounds. It's in their dream role, so something that they'd love to play but never played before, and I'm spending about 6 weeks each on these ones, so these are a little quicker. But yeah, very different, kind of vibrant, plasticky kind of surfaces, but it was a fun departure for me, you know.
And of course, when people go and see this at the Truman Gallery, then they have their own memories of these toys. You know, you're painting it with your own memories, but everyone walking around there will either not have any recognition of them at all, or might have really strong memories.
Yeah, it's been interesting, people seeing the paintings and kind of telling me their own experiences, and everybody kind of has their own stories of, just rooting through jumble sales as a kid, finding the toys, or people losing arms, things like that. You know, they're very distinctive personal memories. So I hope it triggers that same kind of nostalgic trip in people.
We can see your nostalgic trip there with your family and old photos. But I wonder if we could pull out a specific toy and hear it. Well, I was about to talk about him. No, Batman. For you, what was that like?
Yeah, so I've always been a big Batman fan, from the Adam West 60s camp one to the Keaton movies and things like that. And I was obsessed with the cartoon, the animated series, which this figure's on. So I'd carry this toy around all the time with me as a kid. And it's remained in pretty good tack. So I knew that was one that I really wanted to do, because he was so important to me. He was just my companion all the time.
I just wanted to ask, though, about kind of the current pop culture, and there is a bit of an obsession with nostalgia at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I don't know if, that's good or bad for my timing. It's something that wasn't too premeditated, but I guess just at a certain point, 32, that I just started to think back on some of these things. But, it is quite on the zeitgeist. Like a lot of these movies, like Ghostbusters and things like that, then Star Wars, they're kind of having a revival now, but it wasn't too, considered in that way, but it's kind of just happened. But maybe it's, the vibe at the moment, perhaps.
Okay, Joe Simpson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And that exhibition is called Figure Painting and is on at the Old Truman Brewery in Brick Lane until March the 5th. Well, that's it for London Go today. We'll leave you with some of your art, the pictures you sent us on Instagram. Keep them coming at London Live, and have a great evening.